Now, as we've just been saying, hundreds of thousands of students across the country received their exam results this morning, having not sat their exams. Universities in England have been urged to keep places open for students if they appeal against their A-level results. Professor Debra Humphris is Vice-Chancellor of Brighton University and can explain how she's going to be approaching this. Debra, good morning.
Morning, Stig.
When you learnt about the various plans, or when did you learn about the various plans for dealing with these grades, the idea of mocks or resits in the autumn?
Well, we've been in discussion with the DFE as a sector since March, actually, about having some form of stability for this coming academic year in anticipation that there would be challenges to the assessment process for schools and colleges. The late changes in terms of mocks literally arrived with us in a letter from the Minister on the 10th of August, so earlier this week. But that said, the sector is well used to exercising flexibility and looking at students in the round. So I just wanted to also make sure that at this point in time to say congratulations to all those individuals who are receiving their results this morning. It represents 2 years of hard work in an extraordinary context.
I guess the problem you're going to have is results will come in, there'll be a whole bunch of appeals. How will you know what result to give credence to, and how will that link to the offers you've given to students?
So students will need to go through their schools, should they wish to appeal to use mock results or to resit exams. They need to first of all do that through their schools. That will then the scale of the number of appeals, we simply don't know that yet. But the indication in the letter from the Minister was that Ofqual, who are obviously working very hard to sort out this process, will attempt to do this as rapidly as possible. We'll show flexibility, of course we will. This is young people's futures. We'll show flexibility up until the beginning of the academic year. We're well used to doing that. It is an extraordinary circumstance. And if in doubt, please, I would urge candidates and their parents to contact their schools and to contact universities. We're here to be helpful.
So in practice, if I've got a 3C offer to your university, and I've come short of that, perhaps because my grade's been downgraded, I was going to get 3Cs and I've ended up with 2Cs and a D. I won't hold you to this for every single person, but is the view effectively, though, that you're going to look kindly on that and people will get in?
Well, we also have a set of requirements under our regulator called the Office for Students. So they've set down some rules for us as well. But we look at, certainly across my university and the university's alliance universities, we look at candidates in the round. If that were an offer and actually you were coming for a programme that involved a portfolio of work, we look at you as a rounded individual. It's about the potential that we're looking for.
And can you tell whether someone's from a deprived area, for example? So you can actually say, oh God, they should have got this. It's been downgraded. That might have been this faulty algorithm. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Do you know that about every individual student?
We'll have a large amount of data about every individual applicant and the school that they're at. So we will know that. We will also be, obviously, every university has an access and participation plan. So we are all looking to support social mobility. And for students who have had extraordinarily difficult circumstances, you'll find universities are flexible and supportive because this is a phase in people's lives in this circumstance, and we're looking for potential and to help them on their journey.
How annoyed with the government's handling of this are you? Could you give it, I don't want to ask you to give them a grade for how they've done this, but you are a Vice-Chancellor of a university. Is this a mess or is this understandable? Where do you come on the scale of that, perhaps?
Well, I think it would be... I think it might not be prudent at this moment in time to say that because the full impact of the appeals process and the announcements that the Secretary of State made yesterday or last night, we don't we'll see in the coming days the full impact of that. So it might be worth coming back to me about that at a later
Well,
stage.
I tell you what, if you undertake to give me a grade in a week's time, Deborah, we'll come back to you, and you can do that. The Scottish government's did something different to the Westminster government. It's just said we'll trust the teachers' results even if they're inflated. From your point of view, from a logistical point of view, would that have been better? Do you think? Because at least you'd have had certainty.
From a logistical point of view, yes, I think it would. I think having one consistent system, but I mean, I think as the Secretary of State has made clear, he's attempting to do the best by everybody. I mean, this is an imperfect situation. It's an incredibly challenging circumstance, and I take my hat off to teachers who have supported all the students through their A levels and BTECs over the last 6 months or so. They've done a sterling job.
Debra Humphris, thank you very much indeed, Vice Chancellor of Brighton University.